You take a look, Chris Rock sitting right next to Kobe Bryant, shooting the breeze, funniest man in the world, telling jokes, and take a look at Kobe Bryant. I don't even hear you. I'm on a mission.
All right, what up, y'all? This man needs no introduction. Kobe Bean Bryant, arguably the greatest NBA player to ever play the game. This dude's legacy and impact on sports is massive, but if you leave it up to the media, they're doing them a disservice. They're doing us a disservice. Welcome to I Am Athletics, where we talk about sports both on the court and behind the scenes. We're going to start with Chapter 1 of Kobe Bryant's legacy. Let's get it. All right, so you have to understand the context Kobe Bryant was in when he's first drafted. He's like no other legend that we would compare him to. For example, Michael Jordan was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, never won anything. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, never won anything. Shaquille O'Neal, drafted by the Orlando Magic, never won anything. Kobe is traded to the Lakers, who has one of the most successful and greatest organizations in all of sports, with massive years of winning before him, and players like Magic Johnson, Kareem, James Worthy. There are tons of Hall of Famers that were wearing Laker jerseys before Kobe Bryant. So you have to think, when this man is drafted, he's not going to a team that ain't never won nothing. And at this time, they actually have probably the second or third best player in the NBA. I would say third behind Michael Jordan and the Dream out in Houston. And at this time, if you're watching basketball, everything is played from inside out. So what happened is, most teams, you got a dominant center. Obviously, Lakers had the most dominant center ever on their team. You pass it into the center. The center will decide how the game is being played. It's played from inside out. They had a Hall of Fame coach who ended up being in the Hall of Fame. Never won a championship, but Dale Harris. Shout out to him, R.I.P. Dale Harris. They had a cool thing going. All-stars around Shaquille O'Neal. You got to remember, the Lakers are about winning. So before Kobe was there, they're still trying to win championships. This ain't one of them organizations that, and we still see now, they think every year they're going to win, right? So this was the context that Kobe Bryant is on. So my point is, when he's going to games, he's not getting up as many shots as he wants. They're not running the offense through Kobe Bryant. I don't care who you put in there. Unless it was Michael Jordan, they were going to be second fiddle to Shaquille O'Neal. Not to mention, there's all-stars around Shaquille O'Neal. In just a second, you'll see who was on the Lakers team. In Kobe's second year, he makes the All-Star. He makes his first All-Star appearance. He's averaging at this time maybe 20-something minutes. Really has no business being able to be an all-star his second year and only playing 20 minutes a game, but you can't deny his ability. He's going head-to-head with Mike. He's jumping over people. He's doing all this crazy stuff, so people want to see him play. Now, at the end of the day, Dale Harris, he's coming in, I'm going to be a championship coach. I don't got time for some new kid who jumps high and it's fun to watch. I got all-stars. I got Shaquille O'Neal. We got a system we want to run, and we want to win a championship. So that second year, and you're going to see in just a moment, Lakers had 4 all-stars on their team. You got Shaquille O'Neal, you got Eddie Jones, you got Nick Van Exel, you got Kobe Bryant. All 4 of them are all-stars, and they all play for the Lakers. The point, what I'm getting at is, how many shots a game you think he's getting up? How many ISOs you think he's fitting to get? This has nothing to do with his ability. This is just what it is. So when you're looking at his stats early on, they're going to be limited simply because he's limited in the role that he has. Even with that being said, as the season progresses, as the organization wants to see him, as the fans want to see him, Coach ain't got no choice but to put him in the game, right? He ain't got no choice but to let him spin. He easily becomes the second best player on the team. And if you know anything about Shaq, when it's time to close games, Shaq, he can't make free throws. So the closer is 19-year-old Kobe Bryant, 18-year-old Kobe Bryant, however old he is, for the Los Angeles Lakers, trying to close out games against the Utah Jazz, same team that took Mike and them boys to 6. This was Kobe's reality. So while Everybody is mocking LeBron for not wanting to take the late shot or the last shot, or Kevin Durant for not wanting to do that. Kobe's having to do this at 18 years old against a Utah Jazz team that's legendary at that time. And as you can see, this moment where he's having all these air balls, if you watch his interview, this is what birthed Kobe into being a monster. Because although he's young, he's dealing with expectations to win now. Again, when you look at these other greats at 18 years old, at 19 years old, nobody was expecting LeBron James to go to the championship, bro. No one's expecting Mike his first year out of college. You got to think he's 20-something, 22, 23. No one's expecting him to go win a championship. They're not expecting that for Shaq. They're not expecting that for Curry, Durant. They're not expecting that. But Kobe in his second year, they are prepared because they have Shaquille O'Neal to win a championship. That same burden and those same expectations fall on Bean. For context, Michael Jordan now retires. The NBA is losing ratings, and they need a new cash cow. The new story was, will Shaquille O'Neal finally win his first championship? You have to remember, he had already been to a championship in Orlando, and he got swept. This new transition was the birth of the very first myth in Kobe's career, is that Shaq carried him to his first 3 rings. And we're going to go through that. But if you don't believe me on the NBA needing a new cash cow, guess what the Lakers ended up doing? They went and got this guy, Phil Jackson, to help bring that trophy to LA. Now, I need you guys to know, before we get deeper into this, Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominant athlete that I've ever seen play a sport. This is across all sports, all countries. In my 30-plus years, I've never seen an athlete this dominant. But what made this relationship so unique was that he was also playing next to a young legend in the making in Kobe Bryant. So it was like something the NBA hadn't seen. Yeah, you've seen Jordan and Pippen, you've seen Magic and Kareem, but you never seen anything like Kobe and Shaq.
Congratulations, 1999-2000 NBA MVP, Shaquille O'Neal.
Ratings are up, the NBA is good again, and the Lakers are dominant again. But this time, instead of Showtime, you got Kobe and you got Shaq. You got the most dominant versus a guy that, if we're being honest, looks like Mike. He's moving around and he's jumping around and he's fading away just like Mike. So the NBA is right back on top. With Kobe winning so early in his career, the NBA hadn't seen that since Bird and Magic winning early on. But here comes Kobe and Shaq winning back to back to back, another three-peat since Mike before he left. The first time they beat the Pacers in 6. The second ring, they beat Allen Iverson and the Sixers in 5 with one of the greatest playoff runs I think we have seen. Maybe I think the Warriors with KD might give that a run for its money. And then lastly, they end up getting New Jersey Nets with Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin, and they sweep them. Kobe's got 3 rings in a blink of an eye. But as y'all know, it wouldn't be LA if there wasn't a little bit of drama going on. So to paint the picture, as we've already stated, they all know their roles. Shaq is the dominant one. We play from inside out. Kobe Bryant is the closer. He hits the jumpers at the end of the game. He goes to the line to close out the game. This is the formula that the Lakers are using year after year after year. Both of them are dominating. Shaq has averaging like 30 and 12. Kobe is averaging from year to year 25 plus, like 6 and 5. The stats going to pop up here in a minute. But then a little bit of animosity happens between the two. Kobe feels like it's my turn, it's my time. You're not even coming into camp in shape. I'm the one handling the ball, so I'm going to feed you based on how hard you work. And Shaq's like, hold on, who you think you are? I'm Shaq. Now we got a beef going on. Lakers end up having an up and down season after the three-peat and end up losing to the Spurs, and then something happens. And just like that, Kobe's career takes a crazy turn. Gets accused of rape. The NBA's in shambles trying to figure out what they're going to do about their cash cow, because you got to think this is who they've been marketing. The Lakers, meanwhile, they're still, hey, we got to go win a championship. Business as usual. They bring in a old Karl Malone and an old Gary Payton, and the season just can't go any worse. Kobe's flying in late from court appearances, going out there dominating, by the way. Shaq is hurt, out of shape. Karl Malone is old. Only one that can play consistently is Gary Payton, and Kobe when he can get in. Kobe's dominating. Ironically, at this time, Kobe has now solidified himself as the best player in the NBA. The crazy part about all of this is they end up going to the finals. So they have a three-peat. They lose the following year. Rape case. Teams falling apart. Personal issues are coming out in the media. Still go to the finals. And they get the draws beat off of them by the Detroit Pistons. And at this point, the Lakers have to blow this team up. And who do they choose? Is it Shaquille O'Neal, the MVP, three-time NBA finalist, most dominant center ever? Or is it Kobe Bryant, the guy who's now showing to be the best player in the NBA, but has a lot of marketing issues, dealing with a rape case, NBA's not backing him no more, losing sponsorships. You're in LA. It's all about marketing. What do? Well, they chose Kobe. And for the NBA, best thing you can do is make a story out of this. So what happens? Lakers trade Shaq back to Florida, only this time he's on the Miami Heat, playing with the new guy on the block, Dwayne Wade. I'm sure you've heard of him. Lakers get back Lamar Odom and a bunch of we'll go ahead and get past that. And what happens? Shaq goes and wins another championship. And boom, the myth now has some weight. Kobe, you can't win without Shaq. And his new roster, I can promise you, people have given LeBron James, Steph Curry, I'm trying to think of all the people, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. They've always given them passes when they had bad teams. None of those teams were as bad as these teams Kobe Bryant was on. It's not even close. I'll name a few as the rosters. You'll see the rosters go by. You got Smush Parker. You got Kwame Brown, which I love Kwame. Good dude. Devin George, Chris Mim. I think his name was Chucky Atkins. None of these guys are outside of Lamar Odom are even starting on another NBA team. Let alone should they even be in the NBA. They got, I think it's Brian Grant. Like, these dudes were bad. Like, it's one of them things you had to see for yourself. They were absolutely bad. But nobody was going to give Kobe the benefit of the doubt, because from the world's perspective, it's like, bro, you just messed up the NBA. You blew up one of the greatest things that we've seen since Michael Jordan. This is your fault. You made this bed. You got to deal with it. Meanwhile, Kobe Bryant is playing the best basketball in the NBA. He's putting up legendary performances. One, I'm sure you guys have all heard about it. It's the 81-point game. So from season to season to season, after Shaq leaves the first season, Lakers are on the cusp of missing the playoffs. He rolls his ankle towards the end of the year. They don't make it. This is like the first season that the Lakers don't make the playoffs. Second season, gets him there. He's playing out of his mind. I want to say he averaged 35 a game out the first round. Comes back the next year, averages like 32 a game out the first round. At this point, Kobe's career looks like it's just headed down the drain, and he's ready to get out. And the era of LeBron James begins. The NBA has a new cash cow. From a marketing perspective, you can't market Kobe Bryant anymore. The Kobe and Shaq thing happens. The rape case happens. The Lakers aren't doing as well. Playing like an MVP, mind you, but they're giving the MVP to Steve Nash. Kobe's upset. He's ready to be traded. Marketing LeBron James was easy for the NBA. He's something like we haven't seen before. Kobe at least kind of looked like Mike. Shaq and Kobe, they can get behind that, but marketing LeBron James was epic for the NBA because he's from Cleveland. He goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you know anything about the East and West at the time, the East was bad. I think 250-win teams. LeBron makes the finals. Keep in mind, Kobe's losing at this time. So it's just easy to market LeBron James. Dwayne Wade had already won a championship. He already won a championship with Shaquille O'Neal, but it's just easier to market LeBron James. That's what everybody wanted to see. He was a specimen. So from where Kobe's at, he's got the short end of the stick. But then something happens. You got to remember he plays for the Lakers. The Lakers trade for Pau Gasol, and this was the birth of the Black Mamba. Kobe had already been dominating the NBA. He had already been clearly the best player in the NBA. But that year, the Lakers make the trade at the trade deadline to get Pau Gasol, and just like that, they become the best team in the West. Now he's winning MVPs. Now his name is trending in the right direction, if that makes sense. Kobe Bryant is at the peak of his career. He's at the peak of his powers. Everyone thought Kobe was done. Shaq left, all these issues, LeBron James. The NBA is even shocked by Kobe Bryant being back where he's at. So they have a problem. Who do we market? Do we go back to the guy who's winning? Because we all know now, if you're winning, you getting camera time. But this wasn't somebody who's never won before. He had been winning since he got into the NBA. So they have to make a decision. Who are we going to market? Kobe did something very unique as well. He changed his number. He went from number 8 to number 24. The birth of the Black Mamba was just different. It was one of those things you had to be there. No one was touching this man. I've never seen anybody with a basketball in their hand play like this version of Kobe Bryant. He's locking down everybody. He's outplaying everybody. No one's coming close. If you can watch that documentary when they go to the Olympics, they're not telling the full story. The full story was Kobe was running the league at that time. When Kobe stepped into that Olympics, everybody knew it was game time. We have the best player in the world now. They didn't watch the scrimmage. Go look at the scrimmage. That's all I'm going to tell you. Go look at the scrimmage and watch what happens.
Brought in by Williams and almost lost by Stoudemire.
Kobe's got the ball. Tayshaun Prince got the job.
They flatten out and spread it out. Shading over Kidd and James. Kobe over Prince for the lead. Got it! 1 point lead, Team Blue. You knew it was coming. Could you stop it?
Now, when we were at practice yesterday, there was a sense and energy from all the players out there. They knew who the best player on the planet was. He was doing all of the talking, and now you come to close the game. What's your first option, Joel? What's your only option, Joel? And Kobe Bryant is defending LeBron James. They go to LeBron.
So LeBron James trying to win it for Team White up against Kobe. On the crossover, into the paint over Chandler. No. It won't go. Tyson Chandler came into the picture.
The reason why that Olympics was such a unique time was because that was the same year of the Pau Gasol trade. The Lakers lose in the finals. They play against, at that time, the Big Four, something we've never seen before. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Boston Celtics. Lakers were well coached. Obviously, they had Phil Jackson. They had Kobe. They had Pau. Bynum was hurt, had a lot of injuries. They were never going to win that series. So that myth that Kobe couldn't win without Shaq was still going. LeBron is the quote-unquote best player in the NBA. He's the new cash cow. That was still going. Yet when you turn on the film and you watch them play, there's no contest here. So, again, Kobe is up against marketing. Kobe is up against narrative. Kobe is up against issues versus who's actually putting in the work, who's actually competing at the highest level on the court. That's what made that Olympics so interesting. Definitely watch that new documentary with a new lens, though. Hopefully that helped you out. But let's keep going. After the Olympics, Kobe goes back to the finals the following year, and I'll just let you see for yourself.
No mercy on tonight. Give nothing. Everybody talking about it's going to be a tough series. That. You can't beat us ever, man.
falling away. Tough shot. Puts it in. Oh, what a shot from Kobe Bryant.
Incredible on the offensive end. Good defense, just better offense. The ability to take the hit, create your own shot, a thing of beauty. Bryant putting on a clinic.
The series is Bryant off to a good start. Kobe Bryant rattles it in.
Do you feel that you and Kobe will ever be able to mend your relationship?
I don't know. I don't care. He only won because of Shaq. I don't want this conversation, and I'm not okay with that.
Oh, what a move from Kobe Bryant! Wow, and speaking of making plays, Bryant banks it in, off balance, falling down. As the buzzer sounds, it's official. The Lakers are NBA champions once again. LA wins the 2009 NBA title.
The MVP of the 2009 NBA Finals, Kobe Bryant.
In all my years of sports, I've never seen nothing like this. Now that Kobe Bryant has debunked some ridiculous myth that he can't win without Shaq, the NBA still has a marketing issue. They want to market LeBron James, yet Kobe still has the throne. The NBA created, literally, I cannot make this up, Nike puppet commercials to almost foreshadow Kobe Bryant, who just won a championship, and LeBron James playing in the championship. Now, if any other industry or any other organization did that, we would say that this is rigged. We would say that they already got this stuff penciled in. This is the perfect marketing campaign to kind of change the guard. I've never seen nothing like this in any sport as far as the NBA or any organization wanting their cash cow almost, their star boy wonder to cross the finish line more than they wanted for LeBron. It was I've never seen nothing like it. It was crazy to actually experience. And now when I look back at these puppets, I'm like, there's no way that we should have just been okay with this. But the campaign doesn't work. 08-09, LeBron loses to the Magic in 6. Kobe ends up beating the Magic in the finals. Next year, they run the same campaign. LeBron loses to the Celtics in 7. Kobe ends up playing against that same Celtics team that he had lost to 2 years prior. Featured the same big four, KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo. Kobe obviously wins that series. Definitely, we are at this point in time, we are way past him not being able to win without Shaq. He now has more rings than Shaq. And he also has the crown still, which the NBA was definitely not prepared for.
We know what it means as a team, but what about individually for you?
Just got one more than Shaq. So you can take that to the bank.
I bet you couldn't have guessed this. The very next year, LeBron James teams up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to win not 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 championships, but 2. The NBA needed their cash cow to win a championship. That's just what the narrative was. I mean, he literally had his own, program set up to where, literally on SportsCenter, I can't make this up. You go watch it, go Google it, go YouTube it. It was called A Decision. They set it all up. It was all about where was LeBron James going to be next. The NBA had put so much resources, so much marketing behind LeBron James. Rightfully so. I mean, he's a great player. But Kobe had just been to 3 championships. And instead of it being about the Lakers, the conversation was about when will LeBron James win a championship. But guess what? LeBron James lost again. Now, this is no shot at LeBron. LeBron is great. I think he's one of the greatest players ever. I'm just telling y'all what happened. He lost again. So the NBA, this is the guy. This is the guy. Yes, Kobe also lost that year. But the guy that is supposed to have the crown just lost again. So how do we justify this? Like, what happens next in this journey? But as you know, the Lakers ain't good with losing. This is the part that I can't make up. This is the part that I need you guys to open your eyes and look and see. The very next year, the Lakers trade for this guy right here, prime Chris Paul. And the NBA said no. I've never seen in sports where someone says no to a trade that all the teams agreed on. So it's okay for LeBron to team up with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade through free agency, but when all the teams agree to the trade, they say no. Kobe Bryant was such a dog that he had one All-Star on his team, and he goes to 3 straight championships. LeBron James has 2 All-Stars on his team, 2 top 75 players. Pau Gasol's not even considered that. And the league's completely fine with it. Mind you, LeBron was at a small, because at the time the league's argument was we want our small markets to be able to compete. LeBron was in Cleveland. Of course that's a small market. You had no issue when he left to go to Miami, but you bring Chris Paul over to Kobe Bryant. The league was scared of Kobe. The league was like, no more of this. He's been winning enough. He's got enough. We got to focus on this LeBron train. And y'all can call it whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. I'm just telling you what had happened in the order in which it happened. What would have happened if Kobe Bryant had prime Chris Paul on his team? Does he win another ring? What happens? But the NBA said no. The NBA has been dealing with Kobe Bryant since 2003 and 2004. No longer wanting him to be in front of the cameras. Kobe was never known as the guy who was in front of, he just won. So it's like you have to market the guy who's winning, but they don't want to see that no more. So now the Lakers are in a tough spot. The team was already older from the years of making the championship, that 3-4 year run. They're older. The trade goes through, and then they say, never mind, they void it. So now you got Lamar Odom pissed off. You got Pau Gasol pissed off. You got all these people who were a part of the trade upset because they got to go back to work. So the Lakers begin to have a down season. And then what ends up happening is, and again, this is the stuff they don't tell you. But when you've been in sports for a long period of time, you know how to look behind the scenes and see the chess pieces moving. But the Lakers owner, Dr. Buss, dies. He has been one of the greatest owners and managers of a sports team that we've arguably ever seen. And he dies. So the Lakers run into just management turmoil. And you still see this today. They're still struggling, trying to figure out who's in charge and what should they do. The front office and management just gets horrible. Jeannie Buss is dating Phil Jackson, the son of Dr. Buss, who obviously his father died. He doesn't want Phil Jackson there. He wants to take over. So management is just a mess. The NBA basically tries to make up to the Lakers the following year, and they allow a Dwight Howard trade. The Lakers end up hiring Mike D'Antoni, which was a horrible hire. Just kind of goes to show what happens when, you have bad leadership. They hire D'Antoni, and then he wants to sign like an old Steve Nash. If you were watching basketball at this time, Steve Nash could hardly run. Like literally he had to lay on the ground instead of sitting on the bench because his back was so messed up. That team started off 15-21. They lost. There was a point where they lost 6 straight games. But Kobe was so great still at this time. I watched those games. Kobe was playing 48 minutes a game, no lie, literally to get his team and drag his team into the playoffs. He averaged 27 points, 6 assists, and 5 boards. This is the same year Kobe pops his Achilles. There's no reason why your star player should be at, I want to say age 34, should be playing 48 minutes, guarding the best player, dragging you into the playoffs. The Lakers did Kobe Bryant a disservice. Pops his Achilles. He still ended up getting them to the playoffs. Can't play any other playoff games. The Lakers end up getting swept first round by the Spurs. Steve Nash pretty much retires. Dwight Howard's on a 1-year contract. He decides to sign with Houston. Kobe's trying to come back. Just Achilles was never after an Achilles injury, especially when you're older, good luck with that. Just could never quite get right. Ended up hurting his shoulder. I think the following year he plays like 6 games. Maybe a year later is like his last year or so. Goes on the farewell tour. Final game of his
career literally sums up Kobe Bryant. They're losing. He comes back and drops 60 and they win. And the unfortunate truth is, obviously, after his Achilles, trying to, like, get back right, that's the Kobe that the media tries to, like, show. Well, he didn't make the playoffs and late in his career. And it's like, come on. If you were there, you know. He was playing at a ridiculous high level. Curry, for example, breaks his hand. They don't make the playoffs. Nobody cares. LeBron James rolls his ankle. They don't make the playoffs. Nobody cares. But there had always been a narrative for Kobe to almost like hinder his legacy. He had been dealing with that throughout his entire career. So it's unfortunate that obviously he's going to rest. And some of the slander that you hear on the internet, like they got Gilbert Arenas talking about he wasn't that athletic, and you got other people just talking about maybe he's top 10. Like if he was alive, they would, honestly, God truth, I think they would be afraid to say it because they would be getting a phone call from Bean. But this man was absolutely amazing. I hope this video kind of sheds light and makes you do a little bit of homework, not just on Kobe Bryant, but on sports in general. Do your own research. Look into everything. Hopefully this is advice for other things as well. But, yeah, look into it. The media does a really good job of putting out the agenda that they want. Kobe Bryant is arguably the best player to ever play basketball. I think if the NBA doesn't try to get in his way, I think he has more rings on his hand. And this is just a completely different conversation. So hope you enjoyed the video, man. And follow I Am Athletics for more videos like this, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'll be talking to y'all soon. Peace out.